At this stage in Football Manager, you might think that you know every single Wonderkid there is to know in the game, but today I'm going to prove you wrong because I've picked out 10 Wonderkids that I think are very, very unknown that you won't have heard of, and if you somehow know more than 5 of these guys, let me know in the comments because you might just be playing a little bit too much Football Manager. Now, of course, Erling Haaland isn't going to be one of my picks, don't worry, but don't expect players of this level. Of course, with the fact that many of you won't know these Wonderkids, it's because they're not, you know, the next Rooney Bargies, the next House of Naipans in the game that are always world beaters. These are guys that tend to fly under the radar unless you give them the love they deserve. If you sign them, play them, develop them, they can turn in to some top players, but no one seems to know about them. And my first pick is actually one of my favourites in the whole list. I wanted to start off with a bang, and I have found Sindri Walid Agelli, a name that I've definitely butchered there, but he is a Norwegian player playing at Danish side Nordsjælland out in the Danish divisions, of course, and he is a right winger who likes to cut in on his left foot, which is his strong foot. So realistically, with the attributes he's got, he's going to be an inside forward. And at 17, he's already got some great ones. I mean, passing vision and technique of a good level. The off the ball work and the work rate are looking good too. He's got the holy trinity of dribbling, finishing and first touch, and can play across too if needed. And the physical attributes aren't too bad either. So obviously, he's not going to be Kylian Mbappe just yet, but you could see the potential here. For only a couple of million, you can sign a potential world beater, I'm going to say it. By the time he's 21, 22, he'll be a completely different talent, but he needs the game time to develop. I think he's a fantastic option, considering barely anyone knows about him. So he's the first of my picks, and they're the kind of players we're going to be looking at in today's video. So if you do go on to enjoy it, make sure you smash the like button for us. Comment down below how many of them you knew. I'd like to see how many of these guys you didn't know about, and subscribe to the channel as well for more FM content. The game might have been delayed until March, supposedly. That's when FM25 is coming out. We'll still keep the content coming. It won't stop. FM content every single week for you. So that's the first of our 10 players. Let's continue with the rest. And we move on to a left back, a Belgian left back in fact, playing for Lille, of course, out in France. His name is Vincent Burlet, and he is wanted at the start of this save by PSG. So you can tell there's a good talent here. This promising fullback has played before in the Belgian divisions for STVV, then went to Schalke and then to Lille. So in his very short career, he's already moving around a lot, and he's had a lot of interest and a lot of teams watching him. This fullback obviously is not yet world class, and he's not going to be for a few years, but at 17 for 3 or 4 million, you can already see the potential he has. A great base set of attributes, very good going forward, and whilst none of these attributes really stand out just yet, they're all at a good level. That means when he does get that development, when he does get that game time, he is going to blossom into a great player. Everything you could possibly want from an attacking wing back, he has got. Maybe needs a bit of work mentally, but the physicals, the technicals are already all there, and he just needs a bit of time to develop into what will be one of the best left backs in the world if you give him that chance. If it's a striker you're looking for though, particularly if you're a team in say the Championship and you want a striker that could develop into a 20-30 million pound Premier League forward, then you might want to check out Crvena Zvezda out in Serbia, who have a 17-year-old by the name of Uros Sremcevic, and I don't know if I've pronounced that right, but at 6'1", he is a very well-rounded forward. Again, there's nothing in his game that makes you go, oh wow, he's an amazing finisher, an amazing passer, or he's really quick. No, he's just kind of good at everything. Maybe not amazing at everything, but good at everything, and within a few years, for a couple of million, if you start playing him, he will develop so fast. He's a left-footed forward, already 6'1", and those physicals are at a good level in every area. So with a little bit of development, he will look totally different. And if you don't know, between the ages of 16 to 18, sometimes 19 as well, that's when you'll see the most growth physically. So within a few years, he is going to be a completely different beast. He's got the mentals, he's got the technicals, and with a little bit of work, this could be a very good forward option. But a player that's a little bit older than some that we've looked at already is Diogo Travassos, who is a Sporting Club de Portugal right back, a Portuguese under-20 international who can play right back, but also right wing, can also play left back and left wing. But realistically, I think you'll be using him in this right back slot. He's going to be an attacking fullback, and whilst he isn't necessarily amazing straight away, he is a bargain at only around £50,000. Now, he has a long-term injury at the start of your save, but by the time you hit January time, the first window where you can actually go out and really buy a load of players, he is going to be available for you to sign. Now, is he world class? Is he going to be world class? I wouldn't necessarily say so. I think he's on a lower level than some of the others because he is already 19. He's used up a lot of those years of growth, but I could see at full growth him being a Premier League level player for a lower level side. But if you're, say, a Championship team looking for a right back for the future, if we use English divisions as an example, he will be a fantastic purchase for a bargain price. Obviously, you'll have to wait until January from Travassos' medical, but this could be a top player for you guys to sign. Another player that many aren't aware of is a 15-year-old Argentinian youngster playing at Vélez. Now, there are some great Argentinian youngsters in FM, but one that I don't really see talk about is this lad, Alvaro Montoro. Now, I will say outright, he does not have the potential to be a world-class player. He won't get to that level. But if you scout this kid for a couple of years, you will soon see he starts to develop. I mean, he's on 25 quid a week at Vélez as a breakthrough prospect. You probably won't be able to get him until his contract expires, at which point you might be able to sign a great player for your youth team here that could develop into a first team talent in a few years. He's got some very good attributes for a 15-year-old. I'm not going to say they're amazing yet, but there are some standouts: 15 decision making, 14 teamwork, 15 passing already at a young age, but also some standout weak attributes too, like only a 2 in strength. But by the time he's 18, 19, again, he'll be a completely different prospect for you guys, and to be able to sign him for so cheap, I think is a bargain. But I wouldn't go for him straight away. I'd leave him at Vélez for a couple of years, see what kind of player you're working with. If you don't know, in FM, Wonderkids have a potential range, and when you start a save, a dice is basically rolled, and that determines what potential they're going to have in any particular save. So it's not the same every time. So sometimes Montoro could go on to be very good, sometimes not so much. Trust your scouts, see what they say, see how he develops, and if he looks half good, bring him in. But that's half of our players in today's video covered, so if you are enjoying this so far, make sure you smash the like button for us, and let me know down below your favourite Wonderkid that you don't think people know about. And I'd also like to point out, I do have my own channel as well, linked in the description down below. If you go on over there, there's more FM content. We do some 40-minute rebuilds every single week where we take over a club and fix them over the course of 5 years in one single video. But I also do YouTube shorts about Wonderkids you might not have heard of, so players like these you'll be getting on a regular basis. So make sure you check that out. But let's check out our final 5 players. My first pick is a fairly expensive player for this list, to be honest. It's Lynden Edhart, who is playing for Utrecht. He's a Dutch 17-year-old wanted in this save by Bluneri, who are Inter Milan, and FC Porto. So some big clubs are after this kid, and you could see why. He's a left winger who can also play central midfield and attacking midfield, striker at a push too, if you really wanted to try it. But I think realistically, you want him as either an inverted winger maybe, coming in on that right foot, potentially an inside forward, depending on whether you train that crossing or finishing, or maybe as a number 10. I mean, he's got good passing range already for a youngster. He's going to develop. He can hit a long shot too. I think for that reason, I would opt for that inside forward role on that left-hand side. He's got some nice physical attributes as well, and I wouldn't really say he is so much better than all the others that he has to have this kind of interest. I'm surprised that these clubs want him and not some of the other players we've looked at, especially when he's a little bit more expensive than some that we've seen, but he's only got 1 year on his contract. So if you watch him in your save, by the time he hits January time, if no one's signed him, you'll be able to bring him in on a free transfer to your club for no real cost at all, and I think then you will have a great youngster on your hands. As of right now, I think this is maybe a low-level championship player, even if we're really going to push it, but within some time, within a year or two, he can be Premier League quality, that's for sure. A real bargain that I think no one is really aware of, though, is Tini Cici, who is an 18-year-old Slovenian playing for Maribor in the Slovenian First Division. Now, he is one of the most promising youngsters at his club and is available for only £1 million. Again, doesn't have the longest deal in the world. Within a year or half or so of your saves, you'll be able to sign him on a free contract. So within a bit of time, you should be able to get him for even cheaper than this £1 million, unless he signs a new deal. But the left-footed, right-sided player is a fantastic option at a young age for this price. He's got great dribbling ability. The crossing, corners, finishing and first touch are also looking pretty good, and his physicals are very well rounded. Now, realistically, those mentals are going to need some work, but at only 18, it's hard to really criticise those just yet. But when he reaches his potential, you can tell he's already going to be a great player. The fact his dribbling is already so good and those physicals are great too, give it a year or so and you'll be looking at a very good option. Again, I think we're looking at a championship quality player here to start with, but once he develops, he could be a Premier League talent in no time. A more complete player though can be found at Independiente in Argentina. This is 19-year-old David Martinez, a defensive midfielder, a right-footed one at that, who is 6'2" already at 19 and is very well-rounded physically. Whilst he might lack a little bit when it comes to the pace and the acceleration, everything else is looking at a pretty good level. He's not the quickest in the world, but he is a linchpin in that midfield. Good marking ability, great tackling, passing vision and technique as well. The first touch is great, the decision making too. He's composed. This is going to be a very good deep line playmaker at full growth. I can guarantee that. He He can do the defensive side, he can play with the ball well, he's calm under pressure, and he's got some other nice attributes to go alongside it. The physicals, the heading, the long shots, the free kicks, the first touch. He is going to be a great option in no time. And for only a couple of million quid, I think he'd definitely be worth the investment for any kind of club that's able to spend that money. But our final two players are both playing in Germany. The first is Eric de Silva Moreira, who is a 17-year-old playing for St. Pauli in the second tier of German football. He's only a breakthrough prospect at his club, and the 17-year-old, whilst he is capped for the German under-17 team, you can approach to sign him and offer him a deal straight away. Now, being a Premier League club in Chelsea, I'm not sure he's going to want to join us. Yes, he does apparently. He wouldn't be a squad player, of course. His contract seems to be a little bit excessive there, but for any of you guys that are able to get your hands on him, you will have a very good young talent on your hands here. And like you just saw, you might not even have to pay any kind of major fee, maybe only a compensation fee for getting him on that free deal. He's got some nice physical attributes to start off with. Not amazing, but they're decent. The same with the mentals and the technicals. Nothing amazingly stand out, but there is a lot in his locker. If you want to use him as a right back, you can, but for me, with a positioning, marking and tackling, I think he's a more forward-thinking player. I think he's a winger on the attack duty, and you could see just by doing that, he looks like he's already a pretty good option at his age. By the time he's 18, 19, we'll be looking at a very complete option. I'm not necessarily sure he'll go all the way of being one of the best in the world, but for the price you can get him for, the fact that no one's really heard of him, I thought he's definitely worth shouting out in this video. But our final player is one that I think can go right to the very top in every save. This is Killian Sauck, a 16-year-old German playing for Borussia Mönchengladbach, another one that you can go ahead and approach to sign straight away. If you offer him a fee, it's going to be about 5 million quid, and Mönchengladbach will not want to let him go. He's got 19 flair, he's got 12 passing, 12 vision, and 14 technique, 15 dribbling, and 14 first touch at only 16. He is going to be a crazy player, either-footed as well, physical, some good ones and some weak ones too, but you can forgive it at only 16. He likes to try his tricks, and you can tell that with that 19 flair, runs with the ball often and uses the outside of his foot. Now, I think as a creator behind your forward line, he's already looking good at 16, so imagine what he's going to look like in a few years, yet I hear nobody talking about him. He's got good potential as well, so in a lot of your saves, he will become a very good player. He's definitely one to check out, and I think he is a great player to finish on, one of the best in this list. So hopefully you found this enjoyable, hopefully you found some names that you haven't heard of before. Let me know in the comments the ones that you did know, and give me your score out of 10 for those that you did. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.